sentence and you can't find a way to finish the sentence and you say, oh, I'm sorry, I'll start again. And then you start a completely different sentence and say something completely different.
You need
And
to,
he started never
you
noticed.
you must tell me that again. You must tell me that again. Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah, you say, let me start again. I'm sorry. Let me
Okay,
start
yeah,
again."
let me start.
And then say something different.
I remember that. Let me start again. Okay, somebody from this group?
We actually, I don't know if it's according to our students. In general, we were talking like about Nina, about you.
Yeah, good.
We actually didn't place you in A2. We thought you were better.
What is that, A2?
Oh, sorry. Not your level.
Okay, good. End of exercise. You've...
Nina.
Thank you.
Nina.
Yeah. Son?
Wearing your shorts. You're wearing shorts there, you're not wearing shorts now.
That was summer. It's autumn now.
End of exercise as regards Nina, right? You've seen a candidate with some really acceptable, understandable English, with clear limitations in virtually every aspect. So that is a very standard sort of candidate. And I think we would agree on the level, which would be which would be an A2. Would be an A2. There are moments up and down. There are moments up and down. But on the whole, I think she's an A2 candidate with potential for development.
Yeah.
And at times with lots of potential for development, but still, I think the overall rating would be an A2.
We placed G1 actually.
Yes, we did.
I think she's
Lower.
Yeah.
Now, this category. There might be other categories where we would not rate her the same way, but that would be, anyway, there would be a majority decision there. Is it a low B1? I personally wouldn't say. I would say A2, sorry, in general, with different strengths and weaknesses. There is never such a candidate who's a clear, straight something. Anyway, that was Nina. Now, Astrid. How well? Did I do?
Very well.
Did I do?
Very well.
Yes.
It's beautifully.
It was
Ah.
lovely hearing you.
Pardon?
It was lovely hearing you, the
Oh,
way
yes.
you could express ideas so
Yeah.
fluently.
Actually, do you want me to tell you the truth? I like listening to myself.
Yes.
No, she's a nice lady. I know her. She's a really nice lady. No, serious. The fact that she is a good speaker of English must not result in you not telling me anything, because that would irritate me.
Yeah.
I've given my best. I know, I like English, I think I told you, haven't I? Didn't I? So I like English, I like languages. Now you've been listening to me. Is there anything you...
It was a lovely
Could tell me.
performance.
Did you like it? Did you like it?
You can say something, yeah. What would be said? What
Oh,
was
right.
it? Was it straight down?
Ah, yeah.
She could improve, huh?
Pardon?
Yeah. The difference
Yes, yes,
between,
please tell me.
between can and can't. So it was very, very clear.
Uh-huh.
But the rest was very good. When it comes to pronunciation,
Yes. Very good, beautiful, good.
You know, I spent last summer, I was with a host family. I was went with a host family in Brighton. And
we understand.
I loved it.
Astrid, yeah. Maybe you should begin to start monitoring, trying to hear your, I mean, in general your language is very, very accurate, you make very, very few mistakes, but if you want to go on to higher levels, maybe you should think about controlling what you say a bit more so that you...
I'd like to move on, right?
Yeah,
I'd really
I'm sure
like to
you would,
move on,
yeah.
yeah.
So,
What do you mean by controlling?
well, what I
Don't
mean
speak
is,
so.
no, what do I mean? Let me start again.
You follow your advice, that's
Well, I'm sure that when you're speaking, you probably make a few kind of mistakes that if you were writing and you saw it in writing, you'd realize. So maybe you should try kind of listening to yourself when you're speaking. You said you like.
You mean recording?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe record yourself
Yeah.
and then
Uh-huh.
see if you can spot any mistakes that you made or think of maybe a better way of alternative way of saying the same thing or...
You know, it's difficult if I record myself. I've made a video recording not too long ago, but I don't know what's wrong. I mean, I need somebody who tells me what exactly I should do. But I will do some more recording. Will you look at it? Anything else? Little to say about us two.
Continue doing what you're doing.
I'd say, not to offend, but I would say, Astrid, remember that in one part of the exam you're in a communication process
Yes.
with the other person. Take into account the person who's sitting with you that's got to talk to you. And remember that that person, I mean this would be a gift to everybody, as general advice, but take into account the other person and take into account their feelings or their ideas as well. So try not to, allow the other person to shine also. We know that you're very good, I'd let the other person also show that they are. I don't know how to say it, but...
Yeah, break. I think this is the point.
Yeah.
When we talk into communicative effectiveness, in interaction, you must not patronize.
Yeah.
Leave room.
the
You
person,
have,
yeah.
there's plenty of opportunities
Yeah.
for you to show, but let the
Let
others show. And
There
that's-
wasn't an interaction. There was a
Yeah.
set of short monologues.
Uh-huh,
They didn't
yeah.
really
Well,
talk to each
yes,
other.
but it was in the interactive bit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
she started to dominate.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
probably that's not what you want to show in a collaborative task, because the task was work together. And so it's not a matter of coming back to the concept of attitude, or competence rather, it's not a matter of skill, not a matter of knowledge, but it's a matter of behavior, of attitude. And it's nice that you raised that point, thank you very
Very,
much.
very
Yeah.
difficult to put
Yeah.
into words,
Yeah.
so as not to offend
And it's
or whatever,
difficult.
but
It's difficult to talk to a 16-year-old,
Yeah,
Right?
that's it.
because it's a long way ago, but I felt like a 16-year-old. But what I remember, it was not an easy time.
No.
So anyway, thank you very much.
Maybe just one more thing. So maybe it would be useful to work on different expressions for asking the other person's opinion.
Yes. Yeah. Inviting others to talk.
Inviting
Yeah.
others to give an opinion, or what do you think about that? It doesn't have to be very complicated.
You call that, what do you call that?
Turn-taking.
Turn taking. I'm Astrid.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, thank you. You've seen the exercise, the type of the exercise. You probably saw that it's not that easy to give feedback. It's the easier bit is to mark in some way, right? But then find language to communicate, to translate the grid into talk is something that is probably rather challenging. So, I've got the final task for you. You know what will come next?
Assessing you.
Over a beer or two, yeah.
Chinese with the Polish.
Yeah.
Oh, the show you different speakers, people from the cultures.
Two people with different mother tongues.
Exactly, yeah.
Sorry, my mistake. You will be watching another pair of candidates, but now you will be using the complete video. Right? So each of you assesses and observes both candidates, according to all those grids. Now you will realize very quickly this is much more demanding. And it is the sort of Champions League an assessor can actually play in. And I suggest you would have to have, oh sorry, well I set it up differently. You choose one candidate. Let's not make it too difficult. You choose, or would you like to have both? Okay. In that case, you would have that same thing twice. Anyway, what you do is you observe one or two candidates according to all grids at the same time. And then we decide which descriptor applies best. And then, if you really want, we will also decide which level. By the way, which level would you range Astrid?
Oh.
Would you give Astrid?
B1.
At times, I agree, there are moments, and we discussed this, didn't we?
Yeah.
There are moments when she actually touches B2.
Yes.
Right? When she tries to express herself, to explain what she thinks. That was way above, or well above B1, but overall, she's not yet a B2 speaker. Overall, she's a good B1, I would say.
But would it be maybe because she was not given a task?
That's the point, right?
Because if she were given
Yeah.
a
Yes,
task for
definitely.
B2,
We said that.
That is,
She might-
that is a very important point.
Yeah, we said that.
How can you expect somebody to show she is B2 if you give her a task where she can't show?
Yes,
Yeah, but given the fact that we are looking at A2, B1, right? There is that category B1 and or above, and that's where she runs. So, here we are. Forget about this, please. This has gone astray as we moved it.
Arranging the case, shall we?
Two boys.
Okay, now, good morning. What's your name, please?
Robin.
And?
Sebastian.
Sebastian, thank you. Robin, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling very good, thank you.
Right, and how are you feeling, Sebastian?
I'm fine too, thanks.
Great. Now, I'd like to know a little bit about you. Now, Robin, how do you usually get to school?
By bus. And sometimes by car, so that's a bit different from day to day. depends on when the school starts. So.
And what's your favorite season, Sebastian?
My favorite season is summer because you can go swimming a lot and do things outdoor like riding a bicycle or rollerblading. So I really like summer. It's my favorite season.
Thank you. And Robin, what was your favorite toy when you were little?
I think because you can build everything with it, and it's just very nice. You can be creative, and yeah.
And Sebastian, what do you miss most when you're away from home?
I think my cats, because I really like to play with them. Like I love just being around them. So I really miss my cats when I'm not at home. That's important for me.
And Robin, what would you do with 500 euros?
I can do it to the bank, or I can buy something I wanted to have. There's a new console coming out, the PlayStation 4. I can buy this one, and yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And Sebastian, what things do you always carry with you?
I always carry my phone and my portemonnaie with me. Because, well, the phone just for all the social networks like Facebook or WhatsApp. And I need my portemonnaie for money and for the train, for the little thing you need to show.
Great, thank you. Now in this part I would like each of you to talk about something for a minute. Please choose one of the topics. Robin first. Can you tell us what it is?
About me, I have to talk about something about me.
Okay, right, yeah. Yes, go on please.
Okay. Alright, so my hobbies are playing football. I really like it because you're with your friends, and I have many friends there which are also playing football with me, and it's a very nice sport. So I really do prefer it, and it's a good opportunity you can do in your free time. What do I like? Yeah, as I said, I like playing football, I like being with your friends, I like free time. So, yeah, what do I dislike? Whether I have to study very much for school, or, yeah.
And one last little comment perhaps?
What I look like, yeah, I think I'm sporty, yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's it, that's the minute. Could you please pick one too, and can you tell us what your topic is?
My topic is homework.
Homework, okay. Yes,
So, like why? I think because the teachers want us to remember the things longer, and it's better than just seeing or reading the things at school when you repeat it again at home. So I think it really gets in your mind. So how often in Hack we don't have that much homework actually, so that's really nice, but I think like twice a week maybe. Then homework I really like the things like when teachers tell us to look things up in the internet. I think that's not a lot to do, so that's cool to make. Then working alone or with others, I really prefer working alone because I do things alone I just like it more than with others. I think the other ones maybe distract you a bit. So working alone is a lot better, I think.
Okay, thank you. Can I have the snippets back, please? Thank you. Now, in this part, I would like you to talk about something together for about 3 minutes. Please have a look at the task. I'll read it out for you. Your English teacher has asked you to organize an English movie night at your school, and you need to choose 3 films. Which will you choose? You have about 3 minutes to come to a decision. Okay? Yes, please, talk together.
But I think High School Musical 3 is a very old film, and just everybody saw this film, so I will choose this one because it's just very old and yeah.
I would choose if I had needed to choose 3 films, I would choose like Batman, Spider-Man, or Doctor Who, because I think everybody knows it, and I think it's interesting for everybody. Like things like Twilight, I think girls might like it more than boys. I think that's not interesting for boys, so that's not good.
And Ice Age is also a film for kids, so it depends on the age which they have in school. So for people my age, I would choose Ice Age 2 because it's just a film for kids, and it wouldn't entertain us that much. Spider-Man would be very much more interesting. So also Batman, these hero films, and yeah.
Yeah, I think Doctor Who might be not that good of a decision, because some people don't that Doctor Who, I know it, that's like a film where you need to think a lot, and some people just don't like it, they just want to watch and enjoy. So I don't think Doctor Who might be the best decision, but it's okay.
So Twilight is also a bit difficult because there are many people who dislike this film, so I will also choose this one, and my favorites are Batman and Spider-Man. Yeah, because the other ones, as I said, it's just for kids, too old. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the same decision. I think Batman and Spider-Man would be the best ones to choose. Because well, Spider-Man, pretty much everybody likes it, and Spider-Man too. These 2 films are really good.
Which of these do you think would be easiest to understand in English?
I think it might be High School Musical, I think.
But it also could be Batman or Spider-Man, because very much people saw this film already, so it's also a bit easy to understand if you see it if you have seen it in German or in your own language. So
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I do apologize a bit for the sound quality. It's not easy to rate and to assess somebody who you don't understand very clearly. So that's the way it is, I'm sorry. But still, we have got 2 candidates here, and I would like you to sit together a little bit and compare what you have found, because you have all been looking at both candidates, or at least at one candidate, and where you've been using all different categories, and perhaps you exchange a little bit what you have found. The feedback you would give. So there's a lot of what you said I couldn't really understand. Because you were it's got a clear pronounced word.
More than we want.
Sounds.
Very, like, very.
Perhaps you need to do something called chunking of words, I think that's that. So there is plenty of things that you can something that you would How you doing?
I put some associated words. I also easy to follow.
all have strong So it's an issue. That's the one. That's the one. And you give an I message. You say,
So what you do is A1 or A2, or well, the idea here is that that's why people are examined. Not really. I mean, and worse if they want to so that because they show what I miss. All those my skills or the ability to communicate with someone for the rest of I can whip through that. I can repeat again. So it's not because because what I did, more like for different reasons when I write like something like this in an oral exam, it's just because structures and things like this are just, you can finish sentences, but it's just because of the lack of rather than, mistakes or pronunciation. It's just like because it's not actually doesn't know. So, you think it's just because of but not because you didn't understand. It's like they another sentence.
It's not very natural.
I know it's not enough, I'd like to detail, but I just want to start, develop.
Finally.
She decided to do it, and once again, for example, when they were talking about it, she said, no, we're not doing it. You said yes, well, I said it was not. I remember, I told her, if you don't want to exactly what about
They are terrible
basically,
But I'm confused with looking for something, but I don't know if that's enough. Maybe everybody
as teachers, we have one very important instrument, and this is our voice. Once we lose our voice, we can't teach anymore. So let's be careful. And the longer the day is, I try to do this, right? Just raise my arm. Whoever sees this will raise their arm and stop talking. And then all of a sudden, one or two people will find themselves speaking up very loud. And they will then look around and see arms being raised. And then they shut up as well. So, anyway, perfect. Now you've seen two entirely different candidates, boys, and yes, you have discussed, I think, a few things. And is there, before you give me the feedback I'm waiting for, is there anything that you would like, a point which you would like to raise before?
Oh, the candidates.
Now, amongst ourselves, teachers that we are. So, is there any point, any point you would like to raise before you actually talk to the candidate, to me?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please do.
What do we do when we don't understand?
because we smile.
Now,
Depends if it's a lesson or testing.
part of the lack of understanding is due to recording.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that I apologize.
But
But the main idea is clear, right? I think Robin, right?
Yeah.
Robin is somebody who is difficult
Yeah.
to understand, even in class,
Yeah.
right? He is difficult, he doesn't like talking a lot. And if he talks to and you bloody well make an effort to understand, if you want to understand the otherwise. That's attitude.
That's a problem.
And then there is something you raised, and I think that's something that we should put on the table as well, and that is L1 interference. Now, at the levels we are looking at, certainly there is strong L1 interference. That's natural. Nothing bad about it. The thing is, up to which point? And then there is that thing that we call, do I actually understand that person? And here, there was an interesting point that somebody said, well, if that had been a Spanish guy, I would probably have understood better than, because my L1 is Spanish. Now that guy is bloody Lower Austria. And he speaks, when he speaks German, he speaks it's the same. That's his way of communicating. So this is something that we probably need to address when we give feedback, and probably explain why we did not understand as much as we would have liked. And then probably Robin starts thinking, I think some people have told him, and he hasn't changed a lot. He's rather resistant to development, if I can put it that way. But he was nice enough to give the show, to run the show. So he's a very good candidate to discuss, really he is. So L1 interference is an issue, and the question is, to which extent do we tolerate? And where is the point where we need to talk about it and say, come on, there is something, there's a problem. I have a problem. Well, you have a problem, and you tell me so that I can make it my problem. Yep.
There's always L1 interference. I mean, we are Spanish. And what I was telling you, the other day, a student said, I wish we were watching a video, I wish I could speak like this person. I said, where are you from? Canals. Canals. So I said, you're never going to, we're never going to speak like native speakers because we are not. And that's magic, and this diversity. Never lose your accent, never lose your identity.
Yeah.
I mean, we understand each other, and then when I played this video, 24 accents in English, and then this guy imitating all this fantastic magic diversity. So this obsession with Spanish students that they want to speak like native, but proper English, British, not American. So we have to really change this, we have to really place, and when we make mistakes, I keep telling them, it's so logical. You're thinking in Valencia in the dialect, or you have a Spanish brain, but let's see how we can think in English, but I mean the Spanish. We cannot change that.
No, we cannot change that. The issue here is, if we want to give feedback, I think if we would want to talk to Robin, what I would like to tell him is, my dear friend,
open your mouth.
You want me to tell you, to talk about your English, you need to give me English which I can work on, which I can actually comment on. There is some things that I did understand, and I can talk about this, but I'm afraid there is a lot that I didn't really understand. So it's very difficult for me.
One question,
Yes?
sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Did you understand him? Because you're
Most of what he said.
Okay.
Most of what he said. But not everything.
Yeah.
Not everything.
Yeah.
I was just talking about, when we discussed that, I was talking about Cambridge assessor training. If you qualify, train to become a Cambridge assessor, local accent, L1 interference, that must not be a problem.
No.
Because you are supposed, in training, you're supposed to rate speakers whose mother tongue is Vietnamese, or South Korean, or Philippine, or Urdu, or God knows what.
Yeah.
And you still have, because when you qualify as an assessor, you don't qualify as an assessor for Spanish speakers of English, but for Cambridge. So local accent, that is something that is difficult to cope with, difficult to learn. In a way, you need to sort of move away from whatever L1 interference there is, and still try to understand as much as you can understand. Because what it boils down to, it's not North Korean or Spanish or Lower Austrian, it's just an English which is not clear enough. The reason is L1. What L1 doesn't matter. So as a matter of fact, the fact that I understand more of Robin's talk than you do is means that actually you should mark, Robin, not I.
No.
But that's theory. Let's move on. Let's move away from that. Anyway, you know, that was bloody experience. You put me into that. Why did you do that? Why did I have to do that?
I'll give you a bit of advice.
Yeah, come on, please do.
What did you say your favourite sport was?
Oh, I don't remember.
Remember, I think you said
Football.
I
football.
did football,
Okay,
yeah,
I said
yeah,
you like
yeah,
football.
football,
Do you
yeah.
play football?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Right. Well, I've got contacts, and these contacts are English, and they're looking for people who want to play football.
Good.
Right?
Good.
It's a team that are English people, and they want.
I give you my
people.
email address.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, if you come to play, if they say yes, we want you, then you've got to be able to communicate with the other people because they're English speakers. Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could make an effort to speak a little bit more clearly so that they understand you? Because if you speak to them the way you speak,
You know, Fabregas used to play with Arsenal.
Fabregas English is quite good, I would say.
Well, I've never heard it. It's just. Yeah, well, I take your advice. Yeah, I can see some sense in what you're saying.
yeah, because that shows that you're
Yeah.
English. You can put it into practice. You can communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if they don't understand what you're saying, then
No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Good. So it's about football. Right. You're Arsenal supporter, by the
I'm an
way.
Arsenal supporter, yeah.
No, nobody's perfect. Anyway, beside the point. There's a lot we can talk about. We could run a seminar on football English, by the way. That would be great. Yes. So, yes, I take that point. Anything else you would like to tell me? How is my bloody grammar? You keep. Last time you kept telling me my grammar is non-existent. That's what you said. I never really understood what you meant, but that's what you said. Non-existent.
You must remind
This is
your
tuyo, Laura.
determiners, countable and uncountable. You're not very good at it. You said very much people.
Yes. What's wrong about?
Did you understand that?
Yes.
very much.
Depends when.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yes, you told me that last time, didn't you? All right. Not easy to talk to Robin, right? He is not an easy guy.
Robin, the recording your voice exercise will be great for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean more of that kind? More stuff of that kind.
Just take a text you like, read it, record yourself with your mobile phone, and then you listen to yourself.
Okay.
And just
Why
see if you can understand it.
Without reading the text.
He'll probably be able to understand himself. But I think, Robin, I think we should consider the possibility of going out with an English girl. So make yourself understood.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I think they call it cushion learning.
Yeah.
That's what they say. I come across that expression. You know, my English isn't that bad. Well, probably Robin knows some expressions other students don't, right? Anyway, let's move on to Sebastian.
Okay.
Sebastian.
Sebastian, your interaction was good. The funny thing was you kept looking at the teacher. So that was surprising.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
They told me we should look, but Robin didn't look at me either, did he?
Yeah, you're right. He was looking at instructions all the time. Yeah. But Robin is Robin. You're Sebastian. Improve your performance.
Yeah.
Not his.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
I think you did quite well.
Yeah.
Yes.
You scored a lot of expressions and vocabulary and for example you used might like, our teachers want us to remember, actually was good, or not that good, like, yes, so, an interesting
Very
thing.
natural sounding.
Yeah.
It's quite understand.
How many words do you use?
Work on widening your vocabulary.
Yeah.
Extensive words
I think I'm
for
going to write my
More
dissertation
words.
about this.
More words.
One was homework, the other one was hobbies, so that's
Yeah.
something that was not
Yeah, that's true.
It was not a very good topic. I don't like talking about homework.
Official school.
Homework, you should have said.
Yeah.
Now,
Changing that.
you should have said now, I do like homework.
Okay, my dear
Yeah.
friends,
Improving.
that's what we've done.
Yeah.
And I would like to thank you for this exercise because it asks for your expertise and your commitment to that. And otherwise it wouldn't have worked. And but probably we realized, again, that's not an easy thing to translate a grid into feedback. But when we look at formative testing, that's actually what it is all about. Now, there's a lot we could say about giving feedback. One thing probably is that feedback only succeeds if it is wanted.
That's it.
And I think that's something that we, after all, we are not just language teachers. We work with human beings and help them to develop in some way or other. And one of the basic things is that if you want feedback, if you want to have feedback, you must signal that you want to have it. Otherwise, it will not be successful. You will probably sit there and listen to it, but it won't go any deeper. And if you want it to be a little bit more sophisticated, probably asking questions is something helpful. And probably if we could do the whole thing again, and we said we would only or mainly operate via questions, interaction between you and the candidate would probably be richer even, because you would ask me questions and I would ask questions back, and we are not really used in class. Students are not really used in class to ask questions. There is a funny thing, isn't it? I've got a grandson who is 5 at the moment. 90% of what he says when he speaks to me is questions. Questions, questions, questions. Most of these questions are one-word questions, and the word is why. Up to kindergarten, it's questions, questions. And then there is a moment in a student's life when this changes. And it's not the learner who asks the questions. Questions he or she has asked because didn't know the answer. A real question, so to speak. And it is somebody who asks the questions who knows the answer. Very funny, isn't it? And the majority of questions in the class are asked not because the person who asks the questions wants to know or needs to know, but the person who asks the question wants to check whether things have been accepted, learned, they say, or not. These are controlling questions and not questions for information. And the learner forgets about how to ask questions herself, himself. It's something that probably makes us think a little bit. And probably there are ways of initiating, of encouraging learners to ask questions and us, teachers, ask a bit less questions. It's just some food for thinking, which I would like to share as we move towards the end. And to finalize, we have got this thing which doesn't work. Anyway, it is two penguins.